Well, best laid plans. I woke up this morning with a note from Amtrak that one of the segments of my trip, a minor one, but still an important one, had been canceled. That particular train wasn't running anymore. So I had to look at the options. I could take the same segment from Sacramento to Santa Barbara by taking another train and at least one bus for at least 6 hours or two buses and the train. It was just, no, I don't want to do that. So after humming and hawing about it, I checked to see if that train would be running the day before, and no, but the day after it was. So I thought, okay, let's switch it to the day after. So I did. Of course, it didn't cost me anything for the change, and it's the same trip. It's just a day later, which means that I have a fourth night in Sacramento, and I'd also be arriving a night later in Santa Barbara. So I rebooked the hostel in Santa Barbara for just 2 nights. I mean, I did think about doing other things. I thought, well, what if instead of doing that, I go to San Francisco or something? And I just thought that isn't going to work for me. The last two or three times I was in San Francisco was with my mom, and we had a great deal of fun. I couldn't imagine going there without her. And since it would only be for 2 nights and a day, it would probably be fairly pricey too. So I hummed and hawed. Then I decided, okay, I'm going to go to Santa Barbara because I really wanted to have that trip from Sacramento to Santa Barbara running along the ocean. And that was part of the reason that I was going there. I will still have 2 nights and a full day there to wander around on the beach and check out the bakeries and things like that. And then the following day, I'll be able to get back on the train and enjoy that journey along the ocean for a second time, which was the whole plan. For me, the train isn't just a way to get from A to B, it's part of the journey. Riding on the train, sitting there watching the scenery go by while you drink a cup of tea. I mean, that's just a really wonderful pastime to me and beautiful too for a lot of the journey. So I made that decision, rebooked the hostel. So now I had the train and the hostel figured out. But now, what was I going to do about Sacramento? I checked to see if the place I was staying, the Delta King, which is the steam paddler, would have that room on an additional night, and they wouldn't. I would have to go up to a room that was higher in price, and I hesitated on doing that. It would be quite a bit more. I was using ChatGPT to kind of figure out some options, and one of the things we talked about was maybe doing a day trip from Sacramento. And there's this beautiful little college town called Davis that has a farmer's market on the Saturday and little cafes. Sounds very charming. So I thought, well, maybe I'll do a day trip there on the Saturday, not the Sunday, but the Saturday, and that would give me something to do. And then we started talking a little bit more, and I decided, you know what? Maybe I'll stay in Davis overnight. So, what I've ended up doing is cutting back my Delta King booking to 2 nights instead of three. I'm going to go 15 minutes on the train to Davis on Saturday, arriving right in the downtown area where the little cafes and the farmers market is. Check into, have lunch, wander around, check into my inn, stay overnight, have a leisurely morning, have lunch, and then come back on the train to Sacramento and check into my motel for the evening. The whole thing is going to cost me more than I wanted, but I also think it's an interesting addition to the trip to go to Davis and also get to go to Santa Barbara. I spent most of the day just trying to figure this out. It's hard, because I mean, I must have looked at 100 different places to stay in Sacramento. And the more I looked, the more discouraged I got. So I really like the idea about going to Davis. It sounds like a charming, quaint little place just up my alley. There is a museum there that's free, and there's a beautiful botanical garden. So that sounds lovely. That was my day. And it snowed. I was rather glad that I'd ordered my groceries to be delivered this morning and hadn't planned really to go out other than for a walk, which of course I'm curtailed. I would not go out in this. It'll probably melt a little and freeze a little over the next day or two, and then the sun is supposed to come back. So hopefully my plan for a bonus birthday on Wednesday will still work out. We will see. Well, that's my report for today. A day in the life of Vicky as she tries to figure out things. My next job is to figure out what the heck to do with my smartphone and my current cell phone. A lot of indecisions about that as well. A lot of different possible mobile plans and things like that. It's all a little overwhelming and sometimes confusing. So I spent a little time doing that last night and then I had to lay down. They don't make it easy. Anyway, you all take care and hopefully talk to you on Wednesday.